So in today's session, we are going to discuss about a flow designer, guys. So flow designer is used to automate the process. Flow designer is used to automate the process. It is a low code platform. It is a low code platform, guys. So flow designer is such a powerful feature that it can replace business rules, it can replace scheduled jobs, it can replace inbound email actions, it can replace workflows, it can replace integrations, it can replace transform maps, it can replace multiple things, guys. Flow designer, so most of the people think that flow designer is a replacement of workflow. Okay, that is not actually correct. Flow designer is actually is not a replacement of workflow, guys. Flow designer can be used as business tool. Flow designer can be used as business tool. Flow designer can be used as scheduled job. Okay, flow designer can be used as scheduled job. Okay, flow designer can be used as inbound email action. Flow designer can be used as workflow. Flow designer can be used as used for integrations. Okay. Flow designers can be used as transform maps. Okay. Well, guys, it's a low code platform. It's a low code platform. Okay. Fine. I am going to open the flow designers. Okay. So here just open the flow designer. So I am creating a new flow designer. I am going to create a new flow design. Create ANC. So in the flow designer, trigger plays key role, guys. In the flow designer, trigger plays key role. So here in the trigger, you have actually three type of triggers: record based trigger, scheduled based trigger, and application based trigger. So guys, in the flow designer, trigger plays key role. Trigger plays key role, guys. So we have actually three type of triggers: record based trigger, trigger, scheduled based trigger, and application based trigger. So we have actually three type of triggers. Okay. So here this trigger plays key role here. So I am selecting created, updated, created or updated. If I select any of these three, it will act as business rule. If I select any of these three, the flow designer will act as business rule. So I am going to select created. So whenever I create a HR case record, it has to create an incident record. Okay, HR case. So whenever the HR case record created, I have to create an incident record. Okay. Well, here guys, if you want to keep any additional conditions, you can keep additional conditions as well. Okay, you can keep any, if you want to keep any additional conditions, you can keep conditions as well. So in the flow designer, you have some advanced conditions. So if it should work for interactive and non-interactive session. So if a user has logged in, if he is trying to create the HR case, that's a user interactive session. If he has not logged in, if user has not logged in, if he is trying to create the record from different source, that's a non-interactive session. This flow designer should run for both interactive and non-interactive sessions. You have to select this one. Only for interactive session, you will select this one. Okay. Only if this should work for non-interactive session means you will select this one. So I am selecting both. If the flow designer should run only for specific people, you have to run only run if the triggered by the following user. You have to select the users here. Okay, you have to select the users here. Only run if the triggered by the following users. Do not run if the triggered by is the following users. Run for any user. So this, if you select this one, it will work for any user. Okay. So guys, here if the flow designer should work only for if the flow designer should work only for HR case table, you will select this one. So if it should work for child tables like HR case task, HR case log. So if this should work for child table also, then you will select run on current and extended tables. So as this should work for only HR case table, I'm selecting this one. If the flow designer should run asynchronously, you will select run in background. The flow designer should run synchronously, you will select run in foreground. Okay. So run in foreground means synchronous, run in background means asynchronous. So well guys, as I mentioned, in the flow designer, trigger plays key role. In the trigger, we have selected created. It will act as business rule. Okay, it will act as business rule. And you can select the condition here. If you have any condition, you can keep the condition here. And if you want to make it working for interactive and non-interactive user, you will select this one. If you want to run it for every user, you will select this one. If you want to run it only for HR case table, then you will select this one. If you want to run it for extended tables also, you can select this one as well. If you want to run the flow designer in the synchronous way, you will select run flow in background. Okay. So here, this action is actually very important, guys. We have out of the box service now provided actions are there. We have service now provided out of the box actions are there, guys. Okay. So normally to create the record, to do the CRUD operations, what exactly we do, guys? You tell me. To do the CRUD operations, what exactly we do? Hmm? So we use glide record. Okay. We use glide record to do the CRUD operations. Okay. So instead of you don't have to use CRUD, you don't have to use glide record here in the flow designer, guys. You can use actions, create record action, create record. Okay. So on which table you want to create a record? I want to create a record in the incident table. So in the incident table, you can fill the incident field values. Caller, category, subcategory, configuration item, configuration item, state, impact, urgency, priority, short description, and description. So guys, here these are called data pills. So this is actually trigger data pills. So these are actually trigger data pills. Okay. So you can, this is actually a reference, right? You can drill down here. You can take caller here. You can pass caller here. Caller is a reference field, right? So these are actually trigger data pills. Trigger data pills. So category I am selecting here as software. Subcategory I am selecting here as DB2. Configuration item. So drill down this one. Configuration item. State. Impact. So impact I am selecting high, medium. Priority I am selecting it as moderate. Short description. HRK short description should go here. So these are called data pills, guys. HR case short description, I am passing into incident short description. So HR case description, I am actually passing it to incident HR case description, and I am passing into incident description. Okay. So whenever the HR case record created, it will actually create an incident record. I am just saving the flow designer. After saving it, you can test it here. You can click on test here. You can select any one HR case record. You can select any one HR case record and test if it is creating an incident record or not in the incident table. So it has created an incident record in the incident table, guys. It is successfully working. Okay, fine. Now I'm just going to incident table first. Okay. Okay. Is it published? So it is not yet published. You have to publish this one. So you have to activate this flow designer. So whenever I create the HR case record, it will create an incident record in the incident table. It is creating multiple incident records. It has created multiple incident records. The flow has triggered multiple times. So it has created multiple incident records, guys. Ideally, it should create only one incident record. I think there is an issue with my personal developer instance, guys. Okay. Lata, I told you right the other day, I think there is an issue with my personal developer instance. That is why it is actually creating multiple incident records. Okay. Instead of wasting too much time here, what we can do is, I would request you to try the same thing in your personal developer instance. I would request you to try the same thing in your personal developer instance. In your personal developer instance, ideally, it is supposed to create only one record. Okay, there is an issue in my personal developer instance. That is why it is actually creating. That is why it is actually creating multiple instant records, guys. But if you try to do it in your personal developer instance, it will create only one. Okay. Okay, fine. So guys, here you have used create record action, guys. You have used an action called create record action. This action will act like a glide record insert operation. So using glide record, you will do the create operation, right? So similarly, you will use create record action, and you don't use glide record in the flow designer. So without scripting, you will be able to create the record. So without scripting, you will be able to create the record. Okay. Similarly, guys, So similarly, in the flow designer, you can also write the script as well. Okay. So here you have actually dragged the data pill, right? This is called the data pill. So instead of dragging data pill from here, you can also drag the data pill from here as well. Trigger point in the trigger HR record. From the HR record, you need caller value, right? So both are same. You can drag and drop here. You can actually dot work here. So you can actually dot work from here as well. You can drag and drop here. Okay, you can drag and drop here, or you can dot work from here. HR case record. Okay, column. So this is actually drag and drop is actually one way. Dot working is another way. You can also use script as well. This is actually a script. Toggle scripting on for caller field. So here you can write a script action script here, guys. Okay. So if you want to populate the HR case caller into incident caller, so you can do one thing. Return FD underscore data. To access flow designer data, you use flow FD underscore data. Dot trigger. Dot okay. Dot current. Current means here HR case record. Dot U underscore caller. So these are actually the three ways. These are the three ways you can actually write the script, guys. You can drag and drop. You can dot walk. You can also write the script as well. So in the script, what you are writing here, return FD underscore data. You can access flow designer data using FD underscore data. Dot trigger dot current. Current refers to HR case here. Whatever the table that we selected, right? So current refers to HR case table here. So U underscore caller. U underscore caller means HR case caller. Okay. So that is how you can actually write the scripting, guys. So here you are using software, right? I am going to write the script here. Written software. Written software. So here what you can do is you can write written email. Written email. Both are same. You understand, right? So in the flow designer, okay, you can also write some server side script as well. Server side script in the sense glide record. You can write some glide aggregate, glide date time, glide schedule, glide duration. You can write any server side script here in the flow designer fields, guys. Hope this is clear for everyone. Is that clear? Okay. Well, in the flow designer, this FX is there, right, in the description. Okay. So if you click on this FX, okay, you can just click on. You can do some calculations. So when do we use this calculation and all? I'll tell you. When do we use this calculation and all? I'll tell you. So this FX is there, right? This is actually for calculations. Okay. This is for calculation. So convert a string into number, date to string, doesn't contain, ends with. So I'll actually explain about separately about this FX, guys. Okay, fine. So for creating the record, we have used create record action. For updating the record, you can use update record action. So we can use update record action. Okay. So if I want to update the HR case with the same incident record, just use HR case here. So in the HR case record, there is an incident field, right? In that incident field, I am actually updating created incident value. So here, created incident value, you can actually pass it, drag and drop here. Okay, what you are doing? So whenever the HR case is created, you are creating the incident record. That incident number you are updating in the HR case field. HR case incident field is there, right? In the HR case form, there is an incident field. In the incident field, I am updating that particular record, guys. Okay, so I'm using update record. I'm actually updating the record. Okay, if you want to delete the record, okay, if you want to delete the record, so you can use delete record method, guys. Okay, so let us say same HR case record, I want to delete it. Okay, so it will actually delete the record. So here you can see here, these are called trigger data pills. Okay, you have trigger here, right? These trigger data pills are these. This create record, right? This create record data pills are these things. Update record. So update record data pills are these. Okay. Delete record. So delete record data pills are these. Okay. So delete record data pills are these. Okay. So we have seen create record action, update record action, delete record action. To create the record, you can use create record action. To update the record, you can use update record action. To delete the record, you can use delete record action. Okay. So that is fine. That is fine. Okay. I'm going to refresh this one. Okay. So I'm going to the flow designer. Okay. Well, name contains INC. So guys, in this flow designer, in the trigger point, in the trigger point, if you select updated, if you select updated here, okay, if you select created or updated, okay, if you select updated or if you have selected created or updated, you are able to see run trigger once, run trigger as once. If you select this one as once, it will act as workflow. Remember this point. If you select the trigger as updated, created or updated, what we can do is we can select for each unique change so that it will work as business rule. If you don't select for each unique change, if you select it as once, it will again work as workflow. It will again work as workflow. Remember this point. If you select for each unique change, it will act as business rule. If you don't select this one, if you select once, it will act as workflow, guys. Remember, I told you when we discussed workflow topic, workflow will be triggered only once, whereas business rule will be triggered multiple times. Let us say when you change the short description 4 times, business rule will be triggered 4 times. When you change the short description 4 times, business rule will be triggered 4 times. When it comes to the workflow, um, when you change the short description 4 times, but the workflow will be triggered only for the first time. Do you remember, guys? Do you understand? Okay, fine. Now we will understand. Now I am going to create another flow designer. I am going to create another flow designer. Okay. Reminder approval. Reminder approval. Okay, there is a table called approval table, guys. Approval table name is approval underscore approval dot list. Okay, sys approval underscore approval dot list. So this is actually approval table, guys. This is called approval table. In the approval table, so whenever an approval is sent out to particular person, you will see all the approvals in ServiceNow here. All the approvals are actually stored in the approval table. If any approval is not approved for 5 days, let us say this is in the requested state. This is not approved till five months. So it has been 5 months since the approval is requested, but no one has actually approved this one. You can see this one. This approval is generated 5 months ago, but no one has taken action on this one. No one has taken action on this one. So guys, when an approval is sent out, when an approval is sent out, if that approval is not taken any action within 5 days, if the approval is not taken any action, we have to send a reminder approvals to approver that there is an approval that is pending on you. Kindly take the appropriate action. Getting my point, guys? Everyone. Okay. So I am going to create a flow designer. Here, daily I have to check, guys. So that means a scheduled based trigger I am actually choosing. Daily, I am choosing scheduled based trigger here. So daily I have to check the approval table. So here, guys, um, we can do the CRUD operations in the flow designer using actions. So create record is to create the record, update record to update the record, delete record to delete the record, and read the record. Lookup record means lookup record means read the records. Okay. Lookup record means reading the records. So guys, here in the flow designer, we have lookup record, lookup records. Lookup records to read multiple records. Lookup record is to read only one record. So now what I am doing is I am using an action called lookup records. Lookup records is used to query the records using without glide record. So lookup records. we have to use lookup records. This will actually like a glide record querying. Using glide record, you will query the records, right? So without using glide record query, you will use lookup records to read the data. So lookup records on approval table. Okay. So how many maximum, is there any condition or not? It is asking. So where state is requested, state is requested. So maximum 1 lakh results. Okay. So you are actually reading the approval records where state is in the requested state. So guys, usually after reading it, you will loop through using while loop, right? So here in the background script, you see to after reading it, okay. After reading it, you will loop through each record, right? Using while loop. But in the flow designer, you don't have while loop. So here you have flow logics here. You have flow logics. I am using for each flow logic. So for each will loop through each record, guys. For each will loop through each record. Okay. So it will loop through each record, guys. For each will loop through each record. Okay. So here I am using again flow logic to check the condition. If mm, so here what you have to do is here you have to take the date difference between you have to take the date difference between created date and today's date. Approval created date and today's date. So guys, there is no action to take the date difference here. There is no action to take the date difference. Date difference. To take the date difference, there is no action, guys. Okay. So in that case, we have to create a custom action in the flow designer. Custom action means which is not provided by ServiceNow. Custom action I am creating, guys. Custom action means the action which developer is creating called custom action. The actions like create record, update record, delete record, the actions that are provided by ServiceNow are called out of the box actions. So here we need a custom action to take the date difference. So here now I am actually creating a custom action, guys. Custom action. You can see action here. Okay. Find date difference. So guys, in the actions, I am actually creating a new action now. In the actions, there won't be any trigger. You can find a trigger. You can find a trigger only in the flow designer. In the actions, you don't find a trigger. You don't find a trigger here. In the actions, you will see inputs and outputs. In the actions, you will see inputs and outputs. So here I am going to create a input that is actually okay. Uh, select the date. Select the date, which is actually a type of date time type. Date time type. Okay, I am making this one as mandatory. Well, here these are actually called script steps. These are actually called action steps. Add a new step. So here I am going to take a script step here. Okay. So here in the flow designer, I can write the script here. using script step in the action. Okay. So I have actually taken the script step, right? In the script step, I have to take the input that I have created. Create a variable. Okay. Date. Dot work. Inputs. Select the date. So in the flow designer, you have inputs and outputs, guys. Okay. In the flow designer, you have inputs and outputs. I am going to declare one output here. Okay. Date difference. New glide date time, comma, input start date, comma, true. Okay. So here it will actually take the date difference between 2 days. So what I'm doing is outputs dot seconds. This is the output name. Outputs dot seconds is equal to difference. Okay. Difference. You can select it as integer. Exit mode. So here you can dot work the script step. You can get the seconds here. So what you are doing here is that you can just click on script here. So you are selecting one particular date. Let us take I am selecting 26th here. Okay. So 26 at 1 a.m. Okay. If you run the script, it will actually get the date difference between 28th and 26th. It will get the date difference between 28th and 26th, guys. Scroll down. So the date difference in seconds. You have got the difference in seconds, guys. For 2 days, 10 hours. 2 days, 10 hours. Okay. So, sorry, we didn't save, right? Go to the action. Okay. So what you can do is you can actually call that custom action that we created. Find date difference, right? Find date difference. So that custom action that you created, right? So this is the custom action that you created. So you can just call that you action here, select the date. So where you can actually provide the approval created time. So you can dot walk approval created time. So each approval created time you will get it here, right? So each approval created time you are actually passing here. Okay. So if you just pass this one, you will get the output from here. Difference. Difference is the output. So you can see here, we have created an output called difference. So you are actually getting the output here in the flow designer. Okay, you are getting the output in the flow designer, guys. Okay, you are getting the output in the flow designer. So this is the custom action that we created. We called that action in the flow designer, guys. So remember, this this lookup records is an out of box action. Service now provided action. This find date difference is actually um, a custom action. Okay, find date difference is actually a custom action. Okay, so well here um, so you will get the date difference, right? That date difference you will receive as an output here. Okay, so what I am doing here is if you are taking flow logic here, if approval created 5 days ago. Okay, so here you can take the difference here. Difference is less than difference is less than okay minus what is this? Hmm. Difference you are getting here. If the difference is greater than hmm, 5 days ago. 5 days ago means why it is taking why it is not accepting negative values. I think because of the data type here. 25th. Okay. So now it is not accepting return. It is giving the date difference properly. Going to the flow designer. So here instead of using this one, I'm using this FX here. Less than, greater than options are not visible here. Find a date difference. You have to pass the approval created time. Made the date difference, but here we have to pass as an integer. Are we passing it as an integer? This isn't published. Role created, not a role created, date difference. So Guys, here I'm just for now, uh, I'm giving some wrong condition here. Okay. Here we have to give the number. So what exactly this does is that this will give the date difference between approval created date and today's date. It will actually get the date difference between approval created date and today's difference. So if the approval created date and today's date difference is greater than 5 days, okay, okay. Now I understand the logic here. Here, what we can do is in the script step, we are getting the negative numbers, right? Better we will keep inputs dot date before. Okay. So now you click on test here. It will not give the difference in the seconds, guys. It will not give the difference in the negative numbers so that it will make our life easy. So it is not giving the difference in the negative numbers. You have to divide 5 days into seconds. Okay. Approval created time I'm taking. Okay. So here, what exactly will happen is that it will actually filter the records, approval records that are created 5 days ago. So what I have to do, I have to send an email. I have to send an email to those approval record approvers. So here I am using send email action here. Send email. So send email, we have send notification, both guys. So I told you um, from the flow designer also we can send emails. Okay, from the flow designer also we can send the emails is what we have discussed. You can either use send email or send notification. Send email means you can compose the email from the beginning here. You have to compose a new email here. Approval, whom you want to send. So approval record, approver, approver, subject. So this will actually send an email to the approver who has not taken action for 5 days. Or else you can also use one more action called send notification action, guys. Send a notification. So here, if you use send notification, here you have to select a system notification here, guys. If you use send notification, if you use send notification, you have to select any one system notification. System notification in the sense you would have created system notifications here. Okay. So approval table, right? These are actually system notifications, guys. If any notification that is selected notification selected here as triggered, in the send when will be an option called the send when as triggered. Approval request. Guys, we'll take a break at 9:30. We'll connect again at 10. Okay. If the email notification is selected as triggered, if the email notification is selected as triggered, so you can see that email in the flow designer, guys. So whatever the emails that is actually selected as trigger type, only those emails you can see here. I'm clicking on this magnifying glass. You can see approval request I made now as triggered. So that what happens, it will actually send an email to this particular email notification. Okay, this is a system notification that you have actually already created that you are selecting here. So likewise, guys, every day this flow designer will run. Every day this flow designer will run. This flow designer will actually query the approval records which are in the requested state. So each approval created time I am taking the date difference between created time and today's time. If the difference between today's time and created time is greater than 5 days, okay. So if the approval is created 5 days ago, so it will actually send an email to the approval. Okay, it will send an email to the approver. So likewise, here in the flow designer, this will run daily. It will actually query the approval records where state is requested, and it will take the difference between created date and today's date. If the difference is 5 days ago, if the approval is created 5 days ago, it will send an email notification. So that what happens, this flow designer will be sending reminder email notifications to the approver who has not taken any action for last five days. Okay, same flow designer, you can also do it using script also, guys. So you can actually go to the scheduled jobs. Okay, you can go to the scheduled jobs. Under system definition, you can create a new scheduled job here. Automatically run a script of your choosing. So you can select the trigger as daily, and you can write glide record here. And you can write the glide record on the approval table where state is requested. And you will loop through each record using while loop. You will take the difference between each approval created record and today's date time. If the approval created 5 days ago, we will send a reminder notification using gs.event queue. Here in the flow designer, we are not using gs.event queue. You are just using send email or send notification. Any one you can use, guys. So do you understand how the flow designers are used as scheduled jobs? Everyone? Is that clear, guys? Everyone? Is that clear? So how the flow designer is used as business tool, how the flow designer is used as scheduled job, you are able to understand or not? Hmm? Okay. So we'll take a small break, guys. We'll connect again.